Good evening. Time for a couple more books from or stories from the best ever do it, you read it yourself book. So today we're going to start with Sniff Catches the Robber. Sniff is a detective. He helps people find things and he helps catch bad people. He thinks with his head and he smells with his nose. One day, Sniff got a phone call. It was Chief Hound. "We need your help," Hound said. "Meet me at Mrs. Jewel's house." "I will be there right away," said Sniff. "How can I help?" Sniff asked. Hound said, "This is Mrs. Jewel, and this is her bracelet box. Mrs. Jewel likes to wear bracelets, a lot of bracelets. She likes it even better than eating pumpkins. She grows pumpkins in her garden. Every morning, Mrs. Jewel opens her bracelet box and she takes out some bracelets to wear. And every morning she sees that another bracelet is missing." "I have lost 7 bracelets," said Mrs. Jewel. "This must stop. Soon I will have no bracelets left." "Have you gotten out this week?" asked Sniff. "Yes," said Mrs. Jewel, "but only to water my pumpkins." "Oh, do you see what I see?" Oh, what's that? "Has anyone been here?" asked Sniff. "No," said Mrs. Jewel. "Have you left any windows open?" "No," said Mrs. Jewel, "and I always lock the back door." Sniff thought, and at last he said, "I will help you. I will stay here, and I will be quiet, and I will watch, and I will listen." The sun went down, and Mrs. Jewel went to sleep, and she made lots of noise. She snored and snored. Sniff listened, and he heard something. He thought he smelled a rat. Raffles' rat was in the room. Raffles quickly went to Mrs. Jewel's bracelet box, and he opened it, and he took out a bracelet, and Raffles climbed up the chimney. Sniff could not catch him. Raffles' rat had escaped up the chimney. "Ugh, if he comes back again, I know how to catch him," said Sniff to himself. "I have just the right kind of bracelet for him." Well, the next night, Sniff watched again, but he soon fell asleep. Raffles' rat climbed down the chimney, and he saw a small bracelet that opened and closed. It was the right size for his wrist, so he snapped it shut on his wrist. Then Raffles' rat climbed quickly up the chimney. Oh, look! Sniff has been dragged out of his chair. Sniff had tied the small bracelet to his leg with a string. The bracelet was actually a handcuff. Raffles could not get the bracelet off his wrist and escape. Mrs. Jewel pulled Raffles out of the chimney. Chief Hound came into the room. "Where did you hide the bracelets?" asked Chief Hound. Raffles told him. "It was inside of a pumpkin in the garden." Chief Hound found 8 bracelets in a pumpkin in the garden. "We must celebrate," said Mrs. Jewel. So they all sat down and had pumpkin pie. And then Chief Hound took Raffles off to jail. Raffles will never steal another bracelet again, especially not one with a string on it. All right, you ready for your second story? Second story is Frances Fixit's Busy Day. Frances Fixit is always busy. People are always calling her. They say, "Please, Francis, fix this for me." And then Francis goes to fix it. Mrs. Goat's water pipes were leaking. Mr. Goat's water pipes were leaking, so he called Frances, and she went and fixed them. She got a little wet when she did it. A boat. Wait a minute, I think I skipped a page. Oh no, I didn't. That's strange. A boat hit a rock and it made a hole in the side of the boat. And Frances fixed the hole. She can fix just about anything. And then a tire fell off the fire engine and Frances put it back. And then Mrs. Cat's car wouldn't go and the engine would not start. So Frances turned the car over and she hit the engine with her hammer and the car started. And then the policeman called Frances. His motorcycle would not go. "You have no gas," said Frances. She put gas in the motorcycle, and then the policeman went after a car. It was going too fast. And then a streetlight would not work, and Frances fixed the streetlight. "Look out, Frances, the pickle truck will get you." And there was a shouting on the train, and the engine had jumped off the tracks, and no one who tried could get it back onto the tracks, but Frances could. Frances could fix anything. And then Frances stopped at the Pig family's house. She had to fix their television set. Mother Pig ran into the room. "Help, help," she cried. "My oven is doing something funny. I think it's going to blow up." Oh my. Frances ran into the kitchen and the oven blew up. Mother had been making fudge and now it was all over the kitchen. And Frances had no time to fix that mess. Oh, that was the end of that story. That was an unexpected finish. Bye-bye.